Welcome back to Kryptolytix, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today I'm going to go over all the trades that I've listed on Twitter and go over a few other things I'm seeing in the market. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so I guess I'm going to start off somewhere a little different than where I usually start, and that's on the NASDAQ chart. I actually didn't cover this one on Twitter, but what I did is I covered it in a video, and that was before we actually got here. So yeah, maybe even in May. It was before we reached this resistance level, essentially. And so I just thought I'd give a quick update on that to see if it played out the way I thought it would, and sort of like where it could go next, essentially. Past price action. And also I had another indicator that triggered a long here as well, which is why I've got this green line in here as my projected upside target for the breakout down here. And you can also see this is the 20-week moving average band, and you know we broke out above there and then held to support, and then we shot off. So there was some extra confluence there, I suppose you could say, but we did also have this false break here as well. But anyway, so I did say that there's a good chance we'd get rejected in this zone. We actually pushed a little bit above it just to fake people into being overly bullish, got really close to the all-time high, actually around 4% from the all-time high, and then we started the corrective move down. So we actually have a lower high here, so there's our high, there's a lower high here as well, lower high. This is on the daily chart. We didn't quite touch the support band there. We've actually come into it now. So there's a chance we might get a little push back up to this zone, and if we get rejected again, and then we might come down to form a high time frame ABC corrective pattern. I'm going to assume if we do get a deeper pullback and take out the lows here, then we'll probably come down to about 13,800 around this zone here. So it could be anywhere between here and here. And that's sort of based on, you know, this wick here, which is an inefficiency in the market to sort of rebalance. But also you can see price action has reacted off this level in the past. We got over here as well, so you could pull it back even further. So this is a significant level to watch because you have these really well-defined rejections from that zone. So anyway, there you go. Just thought I'd start off differently to last time. And I said, you know, here would be a decent place to short. But yeah, if you had a really tight stop loss on that, then you would have been stopped out already. However, it's, you know, it played out from here. So I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for, you know, the classic kind of lower high, like sort of M formation, if you will. So, you know, we've got the high, we got the sort of first move down to test the support here. Then the lower high, that would be your entry more so, or if you came back down here again, that would be your entry there. So yep, okay, that's pretty much the safe way to enter a short, rather than just putting a blind sell limit order in there and hoping that it rejects from there. Well, it did reject there and then came back up, rejected again, but then proceeded to take out all of the shorts that I think were banking on this zone being the major resistance, and well, came down in the end anyway. So I'm not going to go on about that too much. So we're going to have a look now at the cycle chart. Yep, I'm back on the cycle chart for sure, because I find it very helpful to see where we are in the current cycle. So here we have sort of basic price action while I wait for everything to load. It's getting a little hotter where I am, so my computer is struggling a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So we have the band here, the 20-week moving average band, so 21 EMA, 21 SMA, and we have another rejection off that level there. So we really cannot break and hold above this band just yet. However, we got a big dip this morning just before the weekly candle close, so we might sort of get another little push up to the 27,200 again to just really keep trying and really keep testing this level. So yeah, we're still in a short, a Bitcoin short, and yeah, so the first entry was there, second entry there, and then basically, you know, if you didn't get these ones all filled, then this was your another chance to add to it as well. But again, downside targets, they're not too deep, I suppose. You know, if we did take out this this low here, then we could probably come down to around this region. So that's yield at 22k. Also, there's a big support band here as well, so big horizontal support here. So that's the inefficiency of this wick here. This is definitely acting as support. And then you've got this imbalance here as well, which you can see reacted in these levels. And so this has actually created quite a large support band. And we also have the logarithmic growth curve here. But as I mentioned in the previous video, if we break down below that, then have to be refit. But anyway, so let's get into the trades on the daily chart, shall we? And these are all covered on Twitter, so you can go there and check them out when I posted them. I've just been periodically, as I get the signals, posting them and just giving a little bit of a brief on each one. So there's nothing really actionable here, but we're on the MATIC chart on the daily, still waiting for that long signal. We actually have a few trend lines here. So this one here is quite an old trend line. So this is dating back to pretty much the start of the year, essentially. So you can see this one that we're tracking. And, you know, we can see we got above it, but we were rejected at a few key levels, horizontal key levels above, and the 20-week moving average band. Upon rejection, we started the slow bleed down, triggered a short here, essentially. This one got in pretty much as soon as the signal was shown, just because I saw this major rejection and just this bleed, and I was like, well, probably worth getting into this one straight away and maybe try and add it more in at some of these candles above, but it just never got there. So in a short on this one, currently up to about 40%. It's up. That's not factoring in the leverage. And we can see that as soon as we lost this trend line as well, it was a very deep fall. And we are now, and every time we sort of get to it, we just reject. Look at this big wick here, massive inefficiency there. And now we're starting to create a new trend line. So here's our third touch, which means now this is significant, and right into support. So yeah, this line here is another sort of support zone going back all the way back. And I'm not going to zoom all the way back there to show, but this is a key level, horizontal level. So it just wicked down there today. So again, this is like a TP, essentially, take profit. And yeah, we just keep bouncing against these trend lines, essentially. This was a key sort of re-entry if you wanted to take a scalp, because you've got two converging trend lines of significance, and also into resistance, horizontal resistance zone, which you can see acted as support here and is now acting as resistance. So, I mean, that scalp would be up about 5%. So again, like risk to reward, if you put your stop loss above here, that would be pretty good. And, you know, just something basic, I guess, if you were to take this as a scalp, you could probably say, you know, for example here, which is when I posted it, when I was saying, I did post it on Twitter, I said, we're rejecting here. Probably put your stop loss there, because that would be a break of structure, 6%. And if you wanted to like a 2-to-1, then that would be the target down there, which is not too crazy, but that's, you know, a basic trade that you could sort of take with risk to reward factored in, but nothing really connection on this. So let's just move on. So the next one that I have posted is the Solana, which if you followed just the signal, which I posted, you know, I've posted on previous videos, posted on Twitter very frequently, this chart. If you just took the signal, well, you'd be quite underwater right now. But I did say that I was getting on the wicks here. So we did have the retest here, and we're actually kind of bouncing around this level now. So we didn't quite get down to where I was going to add a lot more to this position, actually just stopped short of there. But that's just taking into consideration the support and resistance that we're finding around this region here. One of the reasons why I also didn't take this on the exact signal is we have a diagonal trend line right there, and longing resistance is a pretty unwise move. So essentially, that's why it's good to map out these lines so you sort of know what to work with. So you can see with this trend line here, which again, these are connected all the way at the top, we have this breakout, retest, and then move up. So that's a good sign that we've got some potential bullish price action coming. We almost have a break of structure here. We don't quite have it, but we almost have a break of structure here. Slightly higher closes than here, but we have a very quick rejection because we came into this horizontal resistance, and we come basically down into here and waiting to re-add in this zone here at the 18.8 area. So that's halfway between this sort of zone. This is the 57 point in this zone. So again, this trend line, kind of, you could say that's probably a rejection there as well. Not so sure how this one will play out, to be honest. It's done pretty well, this strategy this year, but there is a chance that we may get some sort of failure or a kind of a first loss, or we go underwater for quite some time and then eventually come back up, then to hopefully put in a sell signal in profit. But we will have to see how that plays out. Just thought I would bring this one up as, yes, the signal is underwater. However, where I entered is currently at break even, and I wish to add more a bit further down. And I guess in validation for this one, probably if you did want to put a stop loss in, I would say under the zone here, because failing to hold around here is going to be the break of this move, essentially. And, you know, if you look on lower time frames, this would be the break of structure down here. So significant closes below 18.8 would be that break of structure, essentially. But we still have lower highs and lower lows, essentially. So we haven't exactly broken yet. So we can see on the market structure, we do have lower high technically. So I guess the other thing to factor in with Solana is we have the 20-week moving average band above. So we have this key resistance horizontal, we have the 20-week moving average band, and I guess we have the structure overall that's saying, you know, things are probably going to move down. So yeah, we'll just have to see how this long plays out, but I'm going to show a few longs that are actually doing pretty well. Okay, so the next one I'm going to cover is comp, which is currently in a long. So with this one, received the signal, did post on X or Twitter, and this one is currently in profit by a small, very small amount, currently about 2%. I haven't entered the entire position with this one because I do think that we could still get another retest of this support zone down here, and you can see the support and resistance, imbalance, support, essentially, and then we fell through. Then it's like acted as support here. So this is pretty significant level, essentially. So there's a good chance that if we get another dip down for, say, Bitcoin or something like that, that we'll get another test down here. So I haven't entered the entire position yet, but a fair bit I did enter here. And as I mentioned prior, did take profit here. So I got the signal here, put the take profit there. Didn't quite fill in the video yet, but as you can see, it went well and truly below that. This probably would have been a better TP. And this was, I haven't changed anything on these charts. This is pretty much exactly the same as last time I showed this. And the difference is now we have a buy signal. So overall, we got about a 69% profit from the last move and 53% from the last one. And we have a look here at the win ratio, 100% win rate so far this year. But, you know, that could change at any point. But you can see the previous trades here. But anyway, so comp is in. We did get the higher low here into the support again. So that is somewhat of a significant thing to show, but just overall, I guess a lot of the thing to note with a lot of these longs is that they probably are a little bit more risky with Bitcoin stuck below its 20-week moving average band. Anything that you go long, especially in altcoins, the upside I think is limited, and I think it's probably more of a risk to be entering longs right now. But I'm just going to follow the signals because they've been pretty good so far. So just going to go with the strategies as they've been developed. So that's it in for compound, and we're just going to actually go back to somewhat of an alphabetical order for the rest. So here's our next 100% win rate strategy, essentially, and that's the AAVE strategy, and that one put a long in back on the 17th of September, and it took its first profit. Well, it put a profit on that chart here, but I actually took profit here at the 0.5 of this entire, measured from this entire expensive move to the upside. So that one was a short there. Now it's a long here. So again, just following the signal, I guess, for this one, although I did get a slightly better position on the short side. I think the long was exactly on the signal as well for AAVE. So yep, that was pretty good overall. Did take a while to play out, about 24%. Not amazing, but that's about 2 months essentially that took to play out, with some profit taking down here essentially at the strong horizontal support, and we're getting 2 currently top signals on AAVE. So I guess that's not looking too great, but profit has been taken from this position. And again, I guess it is a long, so from a risk management perspective, I'm thinking like position sizes probably shouldn't be too big. And I did mention that also on my posts on X as well. So just something to factor in. Just with these longs, probably not to go too crazy and open up huge position sizes. That's just my opinion. And it's up to you what you do with regards to your risk management, but these longs aren't huge because with Bitcoin, again, below its 20-week moving average band, I remain relatively bearish until it can reclaim and hold above that with a few consecutive weekly candle closes. So that's the AAVE trade, essentially. In a long, it was up a decent amount of profit up into the resistance, but it's rejected and it's putting in a few top signals as well. So we'll have to see how this one plays out, but at least for now, we definitely got a rejection. So we'll definitely have to see if we get a higher low around here. Maybe that will come back to entry. Maybe I can re-add to the position. Probably we'll add more around here, around this level here, because we've got, you know, definitely support, resistance, daily candle closes, all that sort of stuff around this zone. So that will be when I add more to this position from the profit that I've already taken from it at around 57.22 in change. So on to the next one. Next we have Cardano ADA, and we can see that it actually lost its strong horizontal support. So that didn't quite pan out for it. You could see it definitely bounced off this level a few times before it fell below it, but there were some expectations that maybe we would hold some support around here. I didn't share those expectations. I'm going to be honest. I was happy holding my short and just riding this pretty much down to where it is now. So these didn't work out at all. This was, I think, something that Gareth Soleo was talking about this being a level to potentially open up a long. Don't really know what his invalidation level was. Don't know if he opened it up because I'm not part of his trading floor, but you know, I don't follow that stuff, but he is a good analyst, so I like to watch his videos. So I don't know if he's in a trade there, but if he is, he's pretty underwater. I don't know where he puts stop losses either. I don't know if he even uses them. So anyway, this one's in a short. No real signs of reversal. Don't really have much in the way of divergences on the RSI. We do have a hidden bearish divergence there. So that's something worth noting. And that's that in terms of the RSI, this level is higher than this level. So it's comparing this structural high to this structural high. But on the RSI, this level is higher than it was here. So that's called a hidden bearish divergence. So that is trend continuation. What's the trend? Down. So yeah, still waiting on this one to break out. I guess if we were going to draw a diagonal line that we could use for confluence on a potential break, I would say we're probably looking at this, I would guess, for the current horizontal. And we can say this is broken and we can invalidate this too. That's pretty much useless. And so yeah, there we had our breakdown below, retest, and then down. And here's the next major support down there. This line here, about 22.3 roughly cents. And so from here, where we are now, that would take us, give us another 6% out of this. But you can see so far, or if that level was reached, then this trade would be up about almost 40%, not including leverage. Not much to report on this. We definitely have a downtrend here, and we're just entering, or we are rejecting off this diagonal moving average as well. So that's worth keeping in there. And I guess if we get a break above this and we get a buy signal, then we'll definitely get into that, but we've got nothing. So we're just holding the short on that. This will be a major profit point, I think, for the shorts. So that's definitely a level to watch out for. So here's AGLD, the next one I want to cover. Again, this one so far this year, 100% win rate. So you quickly saw down below there. So AGLD, we got a long signal right here, and then it pumped like crazy into, you could say, this level here. So you can see I've got the SR zones on the chart for this one, and I'd periodically turn them on and off for the other charts as well, but I've kind of left it on for this one and baked it into my saved chart. Currently, we have now refilled this entire imbalance, essentially. So I actually nailed the profit point here on this one. So I'm actually entered on AGLD down here. So let me just quickly look at my position. So my position's down here at 53.37 cents. How did I get it there and not just in straight away? So I actually didn't even enter here at all. So I got a buy signal and I decided to just wait this one out. And then it went crazy. I didn't get FOMO on the way up. I was just like, well, looks like I missed out on that one. But that actually went up about 60% right into this inefficiency zone. So this whole region here is strong resistance, and you can see right there, it's definitely created that strong resistance there, but now our resistance starts from here. So, and that's the imbalance here. So this top of this wick here to here, essentially. And in terms of AGLD, well, it's been pretty good. And I did mention in the last video where I mentioned AGLD, it's been amazing. Like, it's been absolutely amazing with regards to the trades on and with this strategy. So I'm definitely taking every signal, but I'm calculating my entries a bit more, because you can see in most circumstances, you can get better entries if you just wait. So AGLD, look at this craziness. This is just insane. Absolute breadwinner for this strategy is AGLD, because if you have a look at this particular trade, that was top to bottom 225%, not including leverage. So absolutely insane. And you generally get better entries on this one if you wait. So I definitely waited for this one, missed that pump. Oh well, no problems. Got in very low, pretty much at the bottom of this candle. Once I saw things sort of picking back up again, then I entered the trade there and managed to get a decent chunk of profit taken right at the top of this wick, which is crazy. They don't always play out like that, but sometimes you do get that sort of thing, but it's come back to that level anyway. So did I re-add to the position? I didn't, unfortunately. It would have been nice if I did, but again, with Bitcoin below its band that I keep mentioning, then I am a lot more hesitant to go big on long trades. So we actually just got a big rejection just there. So that one is in a long currently and in profit. And in terms of the next potential levels, maybe we come back to the 84 cent area just to sort of, again, test this imbalance, test this area here, or fill maybe 50% of this wick, which is a good rule of thumb with regards to these inefficiencies or imbalance levels, which would come to, well, around this zone anyway. So yep, coming back up here, that'll be my next spot to take profit. Definitely going to scale out of this one. We are getting a rejection at the moment though, so we'll have to see where that comes back down to. I'm probably going to move my stop loss to break even for this. We've already taken some profit, so stop loss at break even means it's a risk-free trade essentially at this point. So that's AGLD. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's been great actually. this particular ticker with the strategy. Next up, we're going to, I guess, give a brief update on the AVAX short, and that one is currently in profit, obviously. I think if you shorted AVAX along with me on this channel, then yeah, we're pretty much up about 50%. This looks terrible. AVAX just looks absolutely dreadful. So it's just bleeding, going down, and that's pretty much all it's doing. It's kind of a down-only affair with AVAX. We've taken out all of the major sort of support. This huge band, actually, to be honest. Probably a bit over the top of this band. It's just bleeding down more and more and more with no signs of relenting. So we're just going to hold this short. Like, what's the point in even taking any more profit on it at this point? I'm just going to wait for a signal, to be honest. We've broken the 1, which is the Fibonacci, measured from the very top of this year's sort of little bull run to the bottom here of this wick. We did get 50% up of the entire move, and then we've come down, we've actually taken out this wick as well. So out of all the altcoins that I am trading currently, this looks like one of the worst. So don't know why everyone's so bearish on AVAX, but I just follow the charts. So I don't really care why people are bearish on it. I just know that I nailed the short, and I'm just going to hold on to it because it seems like the right thing to do. The next one I want to cover is Curve. This one hasn't had anywhere near as much of a high success rate as the last, but in terms of the win ratio, yes, that is slightly lower. I think it's sitting around 60% at the moment. A little bit higher if you take better entries, especially with this one, because you do tend to get better entries if you wait it out with Curve. So maybe it's a little bit higher, but just going from signal to signal on the back test, this one's about 66%. So not the best, but still above 50, I guess. So you'd say that's positive. We did get a test down here. So when I covered this short was about, we were sitting at around here in July when I covered this first, and we came all the way down. This was before the curve hack and all that sort of stuff. We got a 100% move, essentially. So at 100%, I like to take a fair chunk of profit. Also took profit at right here. It did kind of go back down a little bit below there, but around 40 cents, which was this entire huge band, to be honest. It's pretty over the top in terms of the size of this, but that goes back to some prior levels. So I decided to aggressively take profit at the bottom of there, at the bottom of this band. And I mean, we got this big bounce, and this bounce I'm going to assume is a short squeeze because people were overly bearish and really late probably to the party. So I would say when I was looking at funding rate on this as well, it was just very, very, very heavily shorted Curve was. So kind of glad I took a large amount of profit. Still in the short on this. The profit has obviously taken a big hit if you just hold this signal to signal, because this is a very, very big push to the upside. We've come and tested some of these levels here once again. So that's why we're starting to reject here. This looks a bit toppy at this point. So we'll have to see how price action goes further, but this might be a good spot to re-enter. We actually have a re-entry signal right here. So if you're looking to maybe re-add to shorts on Curve, then these levels would be nice. Somewhere around here, I'm going to say is probably a good area to add to shorts. We've already started getting rejection around here. We can see with these wicks. So we can always just wait and see how the rest of this daily candle plays out. Probably next couple of days will kind of be the make or break for this one, or see if we get that trend continuation. But for now, we got that short squeeze, taking out a lot of late shorts. And I guess the lower targets we've got even further down here, down to like 32 cents or 36 or 37 cents. This would be the next spot to take profit. But again, this one's much lower win rate than the other ones that I'm showing. But this short has been pretty good. The long barely made any profit, but again, it still made something. But yep, so maybe re-add around this area if you're not in a short. Maybe wait a couple of days to see how things play out, but this one is definitely doing pretty well. Again, we've been in since back here, so we don't have to worry too much about some of the short-term noise. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't given too many updates on these daily charts, because a lot of this stuff from signal to signal is just noise. You're just sort of just waiting for the next opportunity between signals. Next one I want to cover is helium. I did mention on X that my TP was missed by a hair, and I explained what the TP was and the reasoning behind it, and the two sort of ways you can go about taking profit with this particular strategy. So again, it's the BB strategy. I've shown all of the settings for it in prior videos, so you can always go back and check those out. We have got a rejection from this zone here, so that's kind of what I was banking on, is some sort of level here. So you can see that finally hit. I said that it missed by a hair, and that was around here, so it didn't quite get my TP there, but in the few days that followed, it did. So we're getting these really strong rejections on helium. Really, really intense. Look at these massive tails to the upside. That's quite bearish, I'm going to be honest. So we are in a long, yes, but these rejections are actually really quite bearish. So yeah, the short was pretty good. That was 30%, and I covered this when Drift listed Helium. I said that, you know, here's a good strategy for Helium, so let's get straight into it if we want to trade Helium on Drift. And this one's been 88.89% profitable on the win rate. So yeah, these rejections here I don't think look too great. So I'm thinking upsides might be a little bit capped here, and we might just roll over, because I'm sure anyone looking at this daily chart might be thinking, well, why would I long this? All of these rejections. There's a chance that maybe with all of these sales, maybe slowly sellers are being exhausted. Maybe we do get up to some of these higher levels, but I don't have that much confidence in this, and I probably have a lot more confidence in the next short. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. So we've taken profit. I took 33% of this, waiting for the next spot to take profit, which I'll probably do around, to be aggressive. Sorry, to be not so aggressive, I suppose would be around $1.82, I suppose, but a more aggressive spot to take profit would be up here at $2. It will require a lot of momentum to get up there. I'm going to be honest, that's a lot. So from entry, that would be about 46%. Who knows? If we get like a relief rally, then potentially that's where we could go. And then maybe we just come down from there. But I don't know about this one. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But honestly, it doesn't look the best. So next we're going to cover NIA. So NIA is a case where the BB trend trader kind of broke and got stuck in a position. So I actually am not trading the BB trend trader for this one. It said to buy here, which is a terrible place, up at $1.97. So for NIA, I'm actually using the trend reversal. So the tops, bottoms, because that has had a 100% win rate in 2023. So I think 100% win rate is pretty good. So yeah, that's what we're trading for this one. It's currently underwater. So this one, the initial entry I had up here at 1.174, and then I add to position down here at around 1.097. So my chart just cleared out and it's kind of stuck. So yeah, this one's underwater definitely, but I'm using the trend reversal signals for this one. I'm actually not sure if I've covered the NIA strategy yet on the channel. So that's what this one is. It's basically you take multiple entries for the short, multiple entries for the long. But yeah, this one I added to the position around here. You can see the bottom side of this inefficiency here on the SR zones. We got another one down here. So haven't got a top signal yet on NIA. It's just kind of like entered this weird little bleeding sideways kind of thing where we haven't quite got a lower low yet. Got higher lows here, but we've also got lower lows. So we are entering a wedge of sorts. Unfortunately, with regards to the long, the probabilities are higher that we break down from a shape like this, because that's generally a trend continuation. So what's the trend? Down. Even though the BB got stuck. And this is something I probably should also mention, is that this can happen if you get the settings wrong on the BB, then the BB trend, then this sort of weird stuff can happen. So in terms of the win rate on NIA, this is actually an 88% win rate, but this particular trade is clearly a massive loss. So that's why you probably should find invalidation levels for this particular strategy, because if you just hold this the whole time, sure, it's okay for spot, but if you're in a leverage position, then that's terrible. But anyway, that's NIA. So there's an example of a BB trend trader strategy that, well, clearly hasn't worked. So there you go. Just like I covered in the last major video where I covered all these charts where I showed the DYDX one. Now this is another example of how it can fail. Yeah, this one I'm using the trend reversal for NIA, but it's still underwater anyway. So just thought I'd cover that one quickly. Another strategy which I've covered a fair few times on this channel is the PEPE PSAR. That's using the 4 hour. That one's finally entered along. So this one's actually a bot, so I don't actually do anything with this one. It's just enter on enter and close on close. But this one's entered along. So again, we've broken out of this trend. So this moving average, it's actually a weighted moving average, but it seems to act very, very well as support and resistance. Look at this rejection right there. Perfect rejection there, perfect rejection there. Support, 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 broke down below, rejection, and then we fell. So this moving average is part of the trend reversal, and I believe it's the 100 period weighted moving average on the 4 hour. So that must have other confluence with other moving averages, because looking back, this just works perfectly for PEPE. But anyway, so we broke above it, came down to it, held a support for several days, and now we're starting to push off that level once again. Yes, the long is underwater, but this one isn't a long, and we'll definitely have to see how that plays out. And yes, here we go here. This is the moving average. Weighted moving average, 100. I put a little band on here as well, but I think it's just crazy that this moving average seems to be very, very, very well respected and has been so the whole time, pretty much all the way back to the start, except for that huge first parabolic move. But as soon as things started to mature a little bit, then you could see it acted as support and resistance. I won't go all the way back to show all of them, but I guess you can just see at least here, just for the sake of trying to keep this video a bit shorter. But this short here was a 75% win, which is pretty nice. So that's for PEPE. Very nice trade on that one. And then this little long here was actually a loss, so we might get another loss here, but hopefully the next short will be another killer. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But the short prior to this was another amazing trade. Currently, you can actually see my results, and I posted them in the last video that I covered the KTR on. So the trend reversal for the bots for Pionex. I covered this strategy. The thing that's worth noting with PEPE is it is incredibly oversold. So that's probably why we got this little pump here anyway, as some sort of short squeeze potentially, because this is a token that is being actively traded by perps traders. So good chance that this push was just a short squeeze. So we'll have to see. I feel like upside might be quite capped. Again, Bitcoin in its bearish trend. So this one might be a loss, but after that massive last win and the massive win before that, with that small loss in between, it's not too bad. We can definitely absorb these small losses when the wins are just so great. So anyway, gonna wrap it up here. I could have a look at a few other things, but my computer's cracking it, and I'm on day 3 of a fast, so I really don't have the patience to deal with it. So I'll cover it in the next video, but I've got a few other KTR strategies that seem to be working pretty well that you can set up as bots with Pionex, and you'll find links to my referrals for Pionex in the description below, where you can get discounts on trading fees, and also it is an exchange where you can set up bots, and they have very limited KYC, which makes them a pretty good exchange in the face of all of this crazy KYC we're seeing everywhere on centralized exchanges. Sure, their KYC will probably get more intense at another point soon, but for now it's actually pretty good. So you'll find a link there in the description below. It helps support the channel and also get discounts yourself on trading fees. They actually have competitions pretty frequently where you can make some extra money on things here or there. They've got some prizes going on at the moment, iPhones and things like that, which is pretty cool for trading using their perps. So personally, I have moved a lot of my trading from OKX to Pionex, at least the ones that I can, and the rest of the shorts that I've been holding for months, they are still in OKX, but I just am trying to support more exchanges that don't have such aggressive KYC, because yeah, it's just super annoying. But anyway, because that's another reason why I trade on Drift. And you know, any other good perps exchanges that come along in Solana, I'll probably end up using those too. But for now, I think Drift is the best out of all of them. So yeah, you can find a link to a referral code in Drift as well. I'm not really sure what you get for that, but anyway, there is a link down there if you want to check that out. If you want to trade perps decentralized. Unfortunately, it doesn't have all of the tickers that I've covered in this video, but there are a few, like Helium is there, MATIC is there, Solana's there, as well as a few others. So if you want to get updates on these strategies, then you can just follow my Twitter, where I will post when things change, when the signal comes through. And then I guess you could just wait for the videos where I cover them in more detail later on. Hope everyone's doing okay out there with price action largely going sideways, but altcoins kind of still on their perpetual downwards trend. Some are holding up pretty well, like AGLD and others. So we'll have to see how these longs play out. I don't have too much confidence in them, but again, I just follow these strategies because, you know, I've back tested them and they have looked good for years for the most part. So I just kind of go with the flow and adjust my bias per ticker based on the Kryptolytix BB trend trader. So that's it for today. Hope you liked the video. If you did, then please give the video a like and a subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and hit that bell notification so you get notifications when my videos come out. And I will see you on the next one. Keep safe out there. This is Kryptolytix signing out. Have a good one.